Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. You can follow me on X at Movies TV Mad and on Instagram and on Threads at Movies TV Mad X. My name is Mick Meanus. I am your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives. Before you continue watching or you press follow or subscribe, you should know I hate and despise modern day Western English speaking entertainment. I believe there is no way of fixing Western English-speaking entertainment. I believe Hollywood is dead. It can't be fixed. It can't be rebuilt in California, in Hollywood. The only way to rebuild and fix the damage that's been done to English-speaking, Western, Hollywood, BBC, the entertainment in England and in America is to move away from the current structure, away from the people running it today, and for it to be rebuilt by people who actually care about the art form. I don't believe this will happen and can happen in our lifetime, but I live in hope. So we continue talking about James Gunn. We continue talking about DC Studios because yesterday, Humberto Gonzalez of The Wrap came up with a very interesting article about The Rock. And it's all a distraction, everyone, to try and distract you away from James Gunn, DC Studios, and the current controversy surrounding Nathan Fillon's casting as Guy Gardner. Nathan claimed he was cast at the Suicide Squad premiere party as Guy Gardner. James Gunn corrected him, saying it was actually the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 premiere party. But Mick, you were talking about this yesterday. But this article about The Rock is about the same thing. It's a distraction. Is Humberto Gonzalez and The Wrap the new spin machine for DC Studios and James Gunn? He suspiciously seems to know a lot of information suddenly and exclusives on James Gunn and DC Studios. Positive stuff. Spin. So anyway, let's get into this. So he claimed in an article where he was speaking about The Rock that The Rock and his ex-wife Dany Garcia went to David Zaslav and wanted to get, what's his name? I forgot his name now. Hiram Garcia, that's it. They wanted to get Hiram Garcia as the boss, the controller of the newly formed DC Studios. This was apparently before they approached James Gunn and Peter Safran to run DC Studios. Now, this article tried to make this a bad thing, tried to make this a toxic thing. But guess what? If this guy, Hiram Garcia, was running DC, we will be getting an epic Black Adam versus Superman movie starring Henry Cavill and The Rock. I don't know about you, DC fans, but that sounds pretty awesome. And guess what? Black Adam brought in more box office than James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. Neither movie making a profit, but ultimately Black Adam attracted a huger audience. Now, we must be, because basically this platform is all about truth and facts. Yes, James Gunn's The Suicide Squad is a solid, good comic book movie. It was released day and date on HBO Max, as it was called at the time, and released in cinemas. So there's a reason it didn't bring in a lot of money. I agree with that. But still, Black Adam did very well, but it was an expensive movie and it didn't make a profit. Both movies were flops. I'm just giving you the facts. Wouldn't you have wanted to see a Black Adam versus Superman movie, The Rock versus Henry Cavill? Wasn't you excited by that post-credit scene with Henry Cavill at the end of Black Adam? Personally, I enjoyed Black Adam. Now, it wasn't The Dark Knight, it wasn't Joker, it wasn't Batman Returns, it wasn't Batman 89, it wasn't the Dark Knight trilogy, but it was a bloody good, entertaining DC comic book movie. And the production values were absolutely fantastic. Guess what, everyone? James Gunn and the modern entertainment industry think you're as thick as shit. They think they can throw a few cameos and Easter eggs at you, and you'll be fine. You'll get in line to take any old crap they give you. For example, we've got Deadpool and Wolverine. This is a cameo bait movie. This is a nostalgia bait movie with not much originality going on. And they think you're going to swallow it and you're going to make them around $1 billion. You probably will. You're probably going to come into me and say, hey, Mick, it's the bestest movie ever. That's all I hear. So anyway, back to this situation with Hiram Garcia. Maybe, The Rock, and Danny and all these people trying to get Hiram to run DC. But would that have been a bad thing? Because, that article tries to make it like it's a bad thing. But is it? Let's look at Hiram Garcia. Hiram Garcia is a very, very good guy. At $7, they've built up a brilliant production company. Would that have been a bad thing? No, everyone. It would have been a great thing. That's the point. Would it have been better than having James Gunn and Peter Safran running DC Studios? I don't know. I can't say that. I don't hate James Gunn. I say this every day because people need to know this. I don't blame James Gunn for casting a new Superman. Everyone wants to put their own people in place. So I don't have some kind of, evil propaganda plan against James Gunn. But isn't it interesting? A day after, Variety and Deadline.com are having headlines about James Gunn putting DC fans right about when Nathan Fillion was cast as Guy Gardner in the Superman movie. Means WB are nervous. This article by The Wrap, Humberto Gonzalez's The Wrap, proves how fucking nervous they are about this situation. They're so nervous, they're trying to distract your attention from James Gunn to The Rock. They're trying to make The Rock look like a jerk. The Rock isn't perfect. Nobody is perfect. But he made a great DC movie, everyone. And Hiram Garcia would have run DC Studios very efficiently. Hiram Garcia is a very, very good guy. So don't allow them to try and make this look like a bad thing. Now, some James Gunn stands going, you see, it proves that James is telling the truth about, the timetable of Nathan Fillion's casting and when he officially took over DC Studios. We know all of that. We know when DC Studios was announced. We know when James and Peter were announced as running DC Studios. We know all of that. But we also know that James Gunn's been working at DC for a very, very long time prior to be officially announced as the co-CEO at DC Studios. We already know all of this, right? We don't know what they were planning behind closed doors. We can only take their word for what they're saying. And as I keep on saying, it's history. It doesn't matter. But stop making up bullshit. But it proves how nefarious these people are. From the two articles from Variety and Deadline.com, because once it goes there, as I say, it proves how nervous they are. But then, for a second day in a row, we get another trade, which is The Wrap, run by Humberto Gonzalez, coming up with a distraction tactic about The Rock. Am I supposed to be angry that, they want The Rock and Danny Garcia wanted their man to run DC? Is this supposed to be a bad thing? I don't think it would have been a bad thing, because The Rock is a DC fan and Hiram Garcia is a very, very good guy, as I keep on saying. So I'm not convinced that was a bad thing. The production values of Black, look, if you want to see, it depends what you want to see, innit? Do you prefer Black Adam to James Gunn's type of storytelling? James Gunn's all about the underdog, groups of people that are flawed. That's the kind of thing he does. And it's, if you want to see that all the time, that's fine. Or do you want to see epic movies like Black Adam? It depends what you're really looking for at the end of the day. But that article from The Wrap and Humberto Gonzalez proves to you how nervous James Gunn, DC Studios, and WB are about Nathan Fillon's claims of when he was cast as Guy Gardner. That article that came out yesterday is nothing more than a distraction. Should we read it? Should we read the section from that article about Hiram Garcia, about Danny Garcia, and about The Rock? I think we should. Stay right there. I know I have lots of, intelligent viewers. Let me ask you a question. Why is The Wrap doing a full article, doing a hatchet job, not only on The Rock, but I've just read some of this. We're not going to read all this article, don't worry. But this is a takedown on Hiram Garcia. Now, this article claims that many people say that Hiram Garcia is incapable of being a producer. He's not good at his job. Other people saying, that Red Notice was his idea. Why is all this going on? It's all a big distraction away from James Gunn to tell you that The Rock and Hiram Garcia would have been problematic, as leaders of DC Studios. Why is it? Why have they done this? Is it a distraction? Or is bigger information about James Gunn and DC Studios about to come out, and they're trying to cause some propaganda and distraction before we hear that information? So this is what the Wrap article said about DC. Matters all came to a head in 2022 when Johnson and Danny Garcia met with Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav on not only inserting Superman back into Black Adam, but according to 4 insiders with knowledge of the meeting, positioning $7 to run DC and replace then Chief Walter Hamada. An individual close to $7 said the meeting was about Black Adam and an introduction to Zaslav, who had just taken over the studio. This person denied that the meeting was aimed to pitch Hiram Garcia as a replacement for Hamada. This is all old news, by the way. We know that $7 and The Rock and the Garcias wanted to run DC. We already know this. This is old news. You see, everyone, let's make sure there's nothing else. Garcia wasn't hired to run the unit, and Johnson and $7 were evicted from DC shortly after the hiring of James Gunn and Peter Safran to run the division. Additionally, former Superman actor Henry Cavill fired Danny Garcia as his manager as a result. Yes, this all coincided after Henry wasn't back as Superman. Now, I've claimed that Henry must have known that he was never coming back. But maybe, obviously Henry was very angry. He wasn't Superman anymore. Clearly, he didn't want her to run his business anymore. Who knows where the truth of it is? So that's it from the article about DC. So this is all very exposing and interesting. But I have to ask you again, why? Why suddenly does The Wrap want to do a whole article, not just about Johnson, but about his people? Obviously, Henry sacked Danny Garcia because he was upset. They promised him that he could be Superman again, and he wasn't. Clearly, Henry's very passionate about these characters, about his gaming. And, he's got himself into trouble when he's told these people on these productions, you're not doing it right. Do it right. And he's trying to give them, the knowledge of his experience of playing games, of reading comic books. So Henry's a very, very passionate lad. I don't blame him for firing Danny Garcia. But none of this is relevant, by the way. All this stuff they're giving us about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, about Danny Garcia, about Hiram Garcia is old news. They may say we were just going to shake Zaslav's hand because he'd just taken over WB. They wanted to run DC, and let me tell you, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with ambition. This is just a huge distraction to take everyone away from James Gunn and him denying more accusations. But as I've already said, it doesn't really matter anymore. It's done. What the problem is the constant, denials and untruths. James Gunn constantly digging a deep hole for himself. and them getting their people in the trades to put out propaganda like this. These are classic distraction tactics, and it's obvious that The Wrap and Humberto Gonzalez are in league with DC Studios. I was very, very upset and angry when I saw this yesterday because my eyes are open. I know how the game works. I know how this industry works. I know how media works. This is anyone who believes any of this shit. Anyone who says, oh my God. I saw one of them going, no wonder the DCEU was such a mess. You can make a movie about the running of the DCEU. Shut up! Shut up! You ain't even seen James Gunn's Superman movie yet. How do you know how DC Universe is going to be run? Hopefully, it's run really well. Hopefully, James Gunn can give us the best comic book movie ever made. Because guess what, James Gunn stands? That's what he's going to have to do. His Superman film is going to have to be the best comic book movie ever made. It's going to have to make $1 billion plus, and it's going to have to get top Rotten Tomatoes scores. By this time, we know that even if a movie's crap in this mid-era of entertainment, you know, the reviews will be fine because they own the critics. They own the media. So all that is kind of irrelevant. But this movie has to be the best thing ever made in terms of comic book movies, and it has to make $1 billion plus. That's it. They're the facts. And if it doesn't, his history and his little franchise's history, we'll see. We don't know what he's going to come up with. But I wanted to talk about this, you know, the Wrap article, because it just shows you how worried James Gunn, DC Studios, Peter Safran, and Warner Brothers Pictures are about this current controversy about Nathan Fillion's casting. Because it probably means that James Gunn, as soon as he came to DC, was asked to run DC, but was asked to keep it under his hat. It means that Walter Hamada was going to be removed earlier. And it also probably means, allegedly, of course, that David Zaslav knew he and Discovery were going to merge with AT&T back during the days of the Suicide Squad. Interesting, isn't it? Could that be true? I don't know. It's all very, very suspicious. But as I explained yesterday about the Cavill thing, he was fired in 2018, or he quit, whatever. He went. He wasn't part of it anymore. That's why we got that article. We spoke about that yesterday from THR and Boris Kit, that they were resting Superman, but really they wasn't resting Superman. We were going to have two Elseworld Supermen, a black one and a James Gunn one, before apparently, officially, you know, there was no DC Studios and James Gunn wasn't running DC. It's interesting, he was asked by a fan during the promotional campaign of the Suicide Squad, would you like to run DC? No, he said. He didn't want to run DC. Suddenly now, he's running the creative side of DC Studios. It's interesting when you're caught in your own untruths, but he keeps on denying it. You see, this is the thing, as I said earlier, they think we're fucking stupid. They think we'll buy anything because that's what they think of us. And we live in an environment with New Hollywood and new, you know, basically Western English-speaking entertainment where they think it's our duty to buy any shit they sell us. And if we don't, they will insult us and blame us. What about the directors of Infinity War and Endgame, the Russos, saying there's no superhero comic book fatigue? You know, there's no fatigue in comic book movies. It's just that the modern generation don't have the concentration levels to watch it. You know, I've never seen an industry in my life that won't, you know, accept the blame for their own mistakes. And this filthy blaming of the consumer, the audience, the fans is absolutely disgusting. And this is what they do. You know, I've said this many times, I'm on social media a lot. And the news, the casting news, the movie announcements. I mean, what about this? That we've got Olivia Wilde, Margot Robbie, and Lucky Chuck Productions in this new, you know, female superhero. that's going to be made for WB. They think they're so clever. They thought it was big news yesterday. Yeah, from the creator of Deadpool, this female superhero. And Olivia Wilde is a lunatic. And Margot Robbie's going to be playing this character. You know, it's one thing to be directed, you know, by anyone else but Olivia Wilde, because Olivia Wilde is that's the name I was looking for, Greta Gerwig. It's one thing to be directed by Greta Gerwig in a feminist Barbie movie. As problematic as it was highly successful and entertaining. And Margot's got this thing at Lucky Chat where, you know, we don't gaslight the audience, you know. We're making a feminist movie, fine, we don't have to keep on going on about it. They'll see it, you know, they'll see our commentary there. But yeah, this is where we are in the industry. It's utterly depressing. There's nothing to look forward to. There's nothing to be excited about. I want to be excited about this Superman movie, I do. As I keep on saying, I hope it's a great movie. But can the best comic book movie in this mid-era of entertainment be made? That's a question for you, isn't it? Can we get a great Superman movie in this era of gaslighting the audience, of the entertainment industry gaslighting each other? They don't like each other, but they never have liked each other. It's not that kind of industry. They're not friendly to each other. But you can be arseholes, but you need to be competent arseholes. And they're incompetent arseholes these days. And that's why I said on the top of the show that you can't save Hollywood. You can't save Western English-speaking entertainment. You have to move away. People have to rebuild it who love it. Maybe fans, maybe we should rebuild this entertainment industry away from Hollywood, away from the BBC, away from them all. Not the people, not the DNA that are running it now, but us. Because we seem to be the only people who actually care about it. And caring about it is part of the magic of being successful, of doing things. They don't want to uplift people anymore. It's all about their Ponzi messaging. And they don't even do it properly. The messaging's always been there, but they knew how to do it. It's not about entertainment anymore. It's not about fun. It's not fun being an entertainment pundit anymore. I used to love it. It's not fun. You know, as I say, every announcement is either a sequel, prequel, or a retelling. There's no originality anymore. It's fucking depressing. It's sending my anxiety through the roof because I care about this art form. I love entertainment. I don't really go to the cinema anymore. I see the odd movie early, but mainly I don't go to the cinema. There's nothing for me to see. We've got a Lion King prequel. A Lion King prequel. Are you shitting me? And the director is offended because fans are telling him it's not original. It's not, you know, they don't want it. It's been downvoted. The trailer's been downvoted. He's offended because fans have told him they're not interested. Who the fuck? Why did Disney think that anyone would be interested in a Lion King prequel? This is where we are today, everyone. It's utterly depressing to be a lover of the art form. I'm just embracing my old movies and old TV shows. I'm watching Ashes to Ashes every night, the sequel to Life on Mars. I've got The Wizard of Oz on repeat. I'm obsessed with The Wizard of Oz right now. But I'm not interested in new stuff. There's nothing. You know, this modern industry isn't for me. I don't know who it's for. I actually don't know who it's for. I think it's for the clapping seals. I think that the less brains you have, the less IQ you have, the better for modern entertainment. And I'm fascinated about this Deadpool 3 movie, which apparently isn't a Deadpool 3. It's just, you know, it's a road movie with Deadpool and Wolverine. You know, Wolverine, Bryan Singer's. You know how all these people keep on doing the moral stuff? Bryan Singer's a terrible bloke. Well, he did actually cast Hugh Jackman's Logan Wolverine. And you, after all these years of saying Bryan Singer's a piece of shit, are going to go and support his Logan and Wolverine. Have you ever heard Hugh Jackman say, oh, I reject Bryan Singer? No, he likes Bryan Singer. He's mates with Bryan Singer. What do you think about that, eh? You fucking hypocrites. This is where we are now. As I say, it's depressing. But thankfully, this isn't my era, boys and girls. This is your era of entertainment. It's not mine. My era is, you know, the late 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the early noughties. That was beautiful. Yeah, it's amazing. The early noughties, entertainment was dying slowly, cinema was dying slowly, but their hearts were still in the right place. We had Smallville, we had Fringe, we had Lost, we had Prison Break, but they were taking money out of movies, cinema, to fund television shows like 24. That's what they were doing because they saw the binge culture coming. So it's an absolute mess. It's utterly depressing, but this platform is about educating you, the audience, and making sure that you're not distracted, that you keep your eye on the ball. And this rap article, this takedown of The Rock and Hiram Garcia and Danny Garcia is just a distraction. It's just to tell you, you could have had these people, and they're really, really bad. The reason they're telling you, The Rock's bad, they're talking about him turning up 8 hours late for Red Notice or whatever the movie is, that some of the money was, for the movie was going to his production company. Lots of big alleged accusations. No one in this industry is clean. None of their hands are clean. As I've always said, the entertainment industry has always had arseholes running it and working within it. But as I say, I'd rather competent arseholes than incompetent arseholes. That's the point. You're never, this is, as I say, if you want this industry cleaned up, if you want child actors to be safe, what we have to do, we have to move away from Hollywood. We have to move away from these corporations and do it ourselves. Those of us who care about this industry can rebuild it, but it cannot be rebuilt within the structures of today. That's what you all have to understand. It's dead. We can't fix Hollywood. We can't fix the BBC. We can't fix the Hollywood studios and corporations. They are, they're fucked. They're drowning in their own lava, and they're happy to drown in their own lava with every announcement either being, oh, we have an activist running our studio. Oh, we have an activist director making this film. It's rinse and repeat. As I say, it's fucking depressing. All the news coming into my feeds yesterday on social media was fucking depressing me. I get days like this and I think, oh my fucking God, this is horrible. Fucking horrible. These people are anti-art, anti-entertainment. They're bastards. It's, seeing all these people involved in the industry today is the analogy of Blofeld in Bond stroking his fucking white cat. That's what they are. They're just a bunch of charlatans. They're just a bunch of Blofelds. So let's get it clear. I hate modern day entertainment. I hate most of the people, not all of the people involved in it today. Because as I say, they are anti-entertainment. And Humberto Gonzalez's The Rap basically tells me that Humberto is in league with DC Studios and WB, and this is nothing but a major distraction to tell you you should be happy that James Gunn and Peter Safran are running things and not them. Look at them. Look at what they're doing. You don't think there's dodgy goings on in the running of DC Studios. You think James Gunn goes to church every Sunday and gives to fucking charity, right? And never puts a foot wrong. None of us are fucking perfect at the end of the day. Neither consumers or the people and corporations involved in entertainment. I don't expect perfection. That's not what I expect. But this, basically trying to make, $7, The Rock's production company, as the big evil, and how, because that's why they're talking about this. It's nothing to do with Red Notice, not really. It's about telling you that these people could have run DC, and you're better off with these people running DC than them. They're all as fucking bad as each other. Let's not get it twisted. We've heard some of the things that James Gunn's done and said. There were new revelations last week I don't even want to go into, exposed by a Snyder fan. And I know they're biasly against Gunn because of him removing Cavill, or was it him? As I say, Cavill was gone in 2018 anyway. It's neither here nor there, but it's the constant denials, it's the constant lying, it's the constant insulting the public's intelligence. That's what I hate, and that's why I'm talking about it. I don't hate James Gunn. I don't want his Superman movie to flop. I love Superman. I don't want Superman's reputation to be damaged. I don't want another black mark, by Superman's name in terms of live action, in terms of movies. I want this to be good. And if the stands and James Gunn do well and his head grows bigger, I'm afraid, you know, that's something we're going to have to put up with. But yeah, I want a great Superman movie. It's not an agenda against him. I'm just showing you how worried they are about that, you know, about Nathan Fillon's claims. Nathan Fillon's gone back, kept quiet. He's not saying anything. But I bet you he's been told off by James Gunn. Of course he has. He's put the cat amongst the pigeons. He didn't mean to do this. The guy was just telling the truth. The guy went out, you know, saying, yeah, this guy Gardner's an anti-hero. I love playing anti-heroes who don't give a fuck. And James Gunn, we were at the premiere party of the Suicide Squad. This guy's just being pure. He's being Nathan Fillion. He hasn't done anything wrong, but he's put his foot in it accidentally. You know, he's put his foot in it. And he's got his friend James Gunn in trouble. But these little articles like this and the one from Variety and Deadline.com prove to you how nervous James Gunn, DC Studios and Warner Brothers Pictures are.